Well, hello. Hello, my fellow sensitive people. It is I, Whimsy, your favorite fake oracle, and I'm here to deliver today's remote view. I have to say, it's been an interesting couple of days, to put it mildly. Many of you have written me and commented on the Correspondents dinner, and I think many of you were also a little bit disturbed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get started with all of that, if you could like, share, subscribe, that would be awesome as we march boldly towards 150,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's my goal. And I'd really love it if you could think about joining. Listen, folks, we got to talk. I watched some of the film footage. I was intrigued by my emotional reaction. I felt like watching it, I was neutral. I had gotten to a place, I had gotten to a place with number 47 where I wasn't as reactive. I was just kind of neutral watching it, which was kind of an interesting response. But I really feel when I sit in his shoes as Donald Trump that it is a feeling that I am very aware that the party is over. The best way for me to describe this when I put myself in the shoes of Donald Trump is that I spent a lot of time in the casino. So I am a casino guy. I own casinos. I know how casinos work. And you're either hot and everything is working for you. This is almost like a superstitious way of looking at the world when I put myself in the shoes of Donald Trump. I see myself as a gambler. I see myself as a winner, win, 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 even when I wasn't. The most beautiful women, the most beautiful everything, everything bigger than life, everything win, 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 win. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. And I can only accept this sense of my identity as winning. I'm a winner, I'm a winner. And what has started to happen is that I no longer have the physical energy to maintain the persona. And there's a feeling that now I am losing, that my winning streak has ended. Does that make sense? I don't know. Let me know what you're picking up, because I know many of you are pretty intuitive yourselves. But it feels to me like I'm a gambler. I'm a gambler and I'm winning. I'm winning. I got the girls. I got the casino. I got it all. Win, 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 baby. Win, winning. This is how I want to perceive of myself. And this is the identity I have, whether it's imaginary or not. Some people would say it's very imaginary considering his bankruptcies, that it was more a fantasy than a reality. But it is a feeling that I need to present myself that way. A series of events start to happen that chip away at this identity. This is how I feel as Donald Trump losing the election in 2020. This chips away. I'm publicly humiliated because I'm no longer winning. So then I have to construct a different reality for myself, right? I have to construct a reality where um, the election was stolen, because it conflicts with my reality that I'm always winning. Then he loses to E. Jean Carroll. And that's publicly humiliating. So he opens an investigation through the Justice Department. Trump goes after E. Jean Carroll through the Justice Department. An enemies list. What are they going to get on him? Get on her? What are they going to do to her? She's on an enemies list. It's interesting, when you do a remote on E. Jean Carroll, there was no fear at all. She was the Queen of Wands. She was without fear. She almost looked forward to it. You want to fight? You want to tango again? I like it. I like the way that this individual has taken her power back. But for Trump, from his perspective, he has lost his winning streak and he knows it. The Kennedy Center, I believe, has also removed his name. When you feel like this, when you feel that you have lost everything and you're a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, you're emotionally stunted and you're only 3 years old emotionally, and you feel like everybody's against you and everybody's picking on you and you're losing, your response to that is to try and regain power. And so little kids do that by having temper tantrums, right? So they will stomp and they will yell and they will scream and they will have these temper tantrums. And this is what we can expect with Donald Trump going forward if my profile is correct. So then what we saw when we looked at the correspondence dinner was we saw the loser, right? He bombs at the correspondence dinner. So it's more proof to him that I have lost my magic, that I have lost my mojo. And it was interesting to look at the room as it was panned, as we were looking at Donald Trump give the speech, seeing Stephen Miller trying to hide under the table. He did not want to be associated as the main speechwriter for the White House. That must have been incredibly embarrassing for him. Many people felt that Trump's behavior was that of somebody who was in the middle of sundowning, where a person starts to fall asleep or become incoherent or wander, or their speech may wander at night, particularly when the sun starts to go down. This is why a lot of the time when we get older, we don't want to go out after 9 o'clock. We just don't have the energy that we had when we were younger. Maybe he was experiencing some sundowning. It was, if he has to speak at 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night and he's not all there and he's 80 years old, he may start to wander off or not be entirely cognizant of what he's saying or what he's doing. I personally was impressed. I thought, well, it's not a complete disaster. I mean, he's bombing, but at least he knows he's bombing. So if he didn't know he was bombing, that might, but he actually knew he was bombing. Other thing, they panned to Jeff Bezos, and I thought that was kind of interesting because Jeff Bezos had to look like, what the hell are you talking about? Like attacking this person who worked for fake news, CNN correspondent, right? So just bizarro behavior. Was Jeff Bezos with his partner? I didn't see her, or maybe I wasn't focused on her, but I thought that that was kind of interesting as well. So we'll go ahead, we'll do the empath prayer, and we'll see how the week is shaping up as we leave the month of July. Yes, folks, we are now leaving the month of July, and I will be doing a tarot reading for you all. Many of you have enjoyed the Pick a Card series, so I will try before the month of August to get a card for the month of August. I'll pick a pile for those of you who enjoy that. Let's go ahead. Let's come together. We will bring in the empath's prayer. Great to see you all here. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic Records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and wisdom we need to empower all of us on our journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say, Amen. All right, this is the setup, and I'm very glad to have you all here. I hope you do enjoy getting the readings from my kitchen office. I have a couple different offices in my apartment, but this office is actually my kitchen office, and I say that because you can see behind me over a couple hundred different herbs. This is the medicine that I prepare with my clients, and that is part of my medical intuition work and part of my work as a naturopathic doctor. So I love the space of working here in the kitchen with the medicine. And I think that it creates a beautiful background for all of you to enjoy when we do the reading. So let's take a look. I'm excited. Let's go in. We have no idea, my loves, but we're going to find out. All right, what I see right now happening is, unfortunately, I see continued problems when it comes to the war. This is the ultimate discussion. If someone's a threat to your safety, and they're crazy, at what point do you have to go in and take the weapons of war away? This is the ultimate debate. Did we do everything in our power to avoid war? You certainly should do everything in your power to avoid war. But we're seeing here more problems. Excuse me, I'm just going to take this down. We're right here. There we go. And that's going to give you a nice imagery, hopefully. And we have the first base card here. The base of the matter is pay attention to world events this week. Pay attention. The world is doing a lot of crazy stuff. And we can see, unfortunately, here cults, addiction, sex addiction, codependency, drug addiction, inability to let it go. This could be a problem because we see with the IRGC, the Islamic Republic extremism, marrying children off at the age of 10, the religious cult that is holding the people hostage. We could be seeing that kind of energy of this is kind of like a cult, also inappropriate behavior, addiction, etc., etc. And we have it on a world stage: abuse of women, abuse of children, religious extremism that's oppressive to the rights of women and children. All of that is something that could fall into this category of abuse, SA abuse, this sort of thing. All right, and where we are at right now, a major judgment is over the earth at this time. A major judgment is over the earth at this time. What is that about? I think, we could be looking at, people don't want to go into World War III, but I think that's pretty much where we're at this point, trying to make sure that that doesn't become a nuclear war. And that is the issue. Can we dismantle Iran before they get a rogue nuclear weapon from, say, Russia or Pakistan? People sympathetic in the Pakistani military. That's been one of the concerns, right? They were hiding Osama bin Laden. So they tend to be sympathetic to extremist groups, right? So they are a mediator in the ceasefire, and right now we do have a temporary hold again on fighting. But we can see here a judgment over the issue, and I don't like this world cult, this sex addiction issue that's coming up. And here we have a defense of one's land, a defense of one's land. Very interesting also to have a Seven of Wands, because that could indicate that one feels invaded or attacked. And so I think it's interesting that that is the card. I think these cards are talking a lot about the world at war right now and much heartache. One of the worst things human beings can do is to choose war. We have to do everything in our power to avoid war. So we see heartache and grief. We think about over 1 million Russians have died, and we know that high numbers of Ukrainians have died as well. We also know that a lot of people are dying in the war with Iran, and Iran is attacking every country in the Middle East at this point, unfortunately. Now Yemen has gotten involved. So we see this grief and we see this heartbreak and this defending of the land, a judgment over the defending of the land, and a coming out of a time of wishful thinking or dreaming. So we are coming out of the time of, maybe we were dreaming, maybe we put our heads in the sand. We don't know what's going on in the world. Just go take care of it, Dad, right? So we may have been a little bit in the past disconnected. There is a disruption that's going to take place on the global stage, which could indicate that a thief attempts to flee. Now, many people feel that Putin is on the ropes, that Putin may be forced to retire early, just as many other people before him have been forced out of positions of power. This is the Russian way. They will remove a person in power in Russia if the people have no confidence. They did that with Tsar Nicholas II. They did that with Yeltsin, right? They did it with Brezhnev as well, I believe, right? So, not Brezhnev, Gorbachev, excuse me, right? Gorbachev was isolated. So the point is that most people believe that Putin will be removed by his own people because of a lack of confidence, because that's historically what Russia has always done. But you can see a heartache here and a judgment, protecting the earth, and then an attempt of thief to flee. So there's somebody attempting to flee the situation. Could also be attempts by major members of the IRG. They could attempt to flee to Russia, just as the head of Syria, Assad, President Assad, had to flee. So we're seeing some attempts to flee here. Many people feel that the IRGC stole their country, right? That their country is being held hostage by this religious cult, which the people themselves do not want. And that could also be another reason why we're seeing this world defense and a thief coming to steal, and then heartbreak and some kind of global religious cult. And the House of Opposition here is that it is over. Very interesting to see this juxtaposition here in the eighth house. We have a Knight of Pentacles, which would indicate that maybe Iran is feeling like they can fight no more. They really, I think they're going to have to make a deal. I think they're going to have to make a deal to give the people of Iran what they want. And I think that Prince Pahlavi is going to come in as a figurehead to bring back a more liberal government, because I don't think that they were prepared for this. This is something that I have talked about in the past. I don't think Iran was prepared to defend themselves. They were using proxy armies, but they didn't train their own soldiers effectively. They were constantly relying on outside help because this looks to me like our House of Opposition. They want out of this. And then the hope and the fear here, it would be a stalemate or an inability to communicate. And then final outcome is family secrets. They could be hiding information at this time, or there could be hidden information regarding the war, but a desire to end the war and enter into serious negotiations. There's real confusion in the IRGC. I don't think that they know what is happening. This is talking more about the global issue right now and about the fact that it looks like we're going to get to some kind of peace or resolution with Iran because they simply don't look like they're prepared to have a serious war with the United States continue. That's very interesting for me. I thought that was very, very interesting. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a look see now at the White House and Donald Trump because I know you all are just so curious, and we all got to take a look, and hopefully it won't give us nightmares going forward. Let's go in. All right, what is going on with Donald J. Trump and Donald J. Trump's White House? We're going to do a blitz, 4 cards, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th of a Celtic cross. Let's do it. Seventh house immediate environment for him is 4 of Cups. We had predicted in the past that President Trump will become temperamental. He will be like a child who wants attention. And if you don't give him attention, he could have a temper tantrum. And that could be blocking funding or refusing to support bills like the government budget coming forward. I think it's going to be in September. So we're having this kind of temper tantrum where to gain power, we could see Trump engaging in stalemate. However, his House of Opposition is strong Ace of Wands. I'm feeling a rise of attack against Trump with the Ace of Wands in the House of Opposition. Expect more of a chorus of unity between Republicans and Democrats to actively take away the powers of the president. While he remains in the White House, his powers may become increasingly limited. This may be a good idea for people who are frightened of J.D. Vance. Keep him in the White House, but continually limit what he can and cannot do. Continually tighten the reins on Donald Trump. I would not like to have an Ace of Wands in my House of Opposition, the eighth house, if I was Donald Trump. It would be that it's a club, it's a war, it's entrepreneurship, it's aggression, it's Aries, it's also a phallic symbol. It's like having cojones, it's an aggressive Yang card. So he is being attacked by the young bloods. He is no longer in power. It's the younger generation. It's Zelensky now who's the king. It's his relationship with Ukraine becoming part of the Abraham Accords, right? So that's the future. The hope and the fear at this time is justice. So, more legal problems in store for Donald Trump appears to be his biggest fear. That there are more criminal investigations and he has more he's going to have to answer for. And I don't think he has the energy to deal with it. A new beginning starting for him in the coming months. Regarding the issues of the Four of Cups, he is going to attempt to dismantle his enemy through any means possible, his enemies, and also through refusing to cooperate. He could potentially attempt to even shut down the government through expect what you're going to see. I can be very clear here, and so can you, is that there is going to be a rising tension between Trump and everybody else as he becomes an obstacle to helping pass bills. And it's because he's trying to get control and assert his power. But what this does is the opposite. It creates more unity in the House and it causes them to work more aggressively against Trump, who becomes less and less powerful. He has lost his winning streak, and that is exactly how he feels. He feels that he has lost his winning streak. And we can see Justice and Queen of Wands after him. Queen of Wands corresponds to the African goddess Oshun, who seeks justice absolute. It's also based a little bit on the idea of the gypsy who dances on her 2x2 board. She dances the gypsy flamenco and stomps. So those were some of the ideas and imagery that led to the creation of the Queen of Wands, stomping on her uh, 2 foot by 2 foot dancing board, and space and territory. We always see time and space when we look at the wands, and she stands with justice. Could be because he was harassing E. Jean Carroll, but we're also seeing women in the house of justice, in the ninth house, and it's what he fears. What he has always needed was his mommy. What he's always needed is the comfort of women. And the biggest fear is to be rejected or isolated or in exile from women. And in a bizarre sort of way, Trump is always presented as being infatuated or obsessed with E. Jean Carroll. On the one hand, he attacks her. On the other hand, he's upset by the fact that she doesn't like him. I think that we are going to see Trump increasingly dismantled by a rising coalition. And I think that we will also actively see him sabotaging things. And I think it's something that we have to be aware of. Well, that was interesting. Wow. Well, I hope you all enjoyed watching this quick video from me to you. If you're trying to get in for a tarot card reading with me, you can book me through Booksy, Dr. Whimsy, along with health coaching, medical intuition, all that good stuff. I'm your girl. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.